Hello, beautiful friends. How are you all doing? So, I posted a video yesterday that was kind of a reflection of my own downloads and observations of patterns that are kind of moving through the collective at this time. And I decided to do a spread specifically for the masculine and feminine as it relates to the collective on Earth, as the masculine and feminine collective relate to Earth. That's what I meant to say. What was really interesting is I drew out this spread every single time when I said the masculine and feminine. Two cards fell out, both four different times, which feels significant. I don't know, but for myself, I've been feeling a lot of synchronicities around 444. I find that's interesting because that's half of 8, and we're approaching this Lionsgate portal. So if we're being little, numerology nerds, we're breaking stuff down to be like, wait, what are these numbers? But I really do feel like the 8-8, and that's my personal birthday. I'm a Lionsgate baby. That 8 is representative of these. Of these fours coming together. And I don't know, there's so much harmony in the number 4. In traditional tarot too, we've got like the 4 of Wands is like the soulmate card, because you have the 1111 within the card. And so I'm really feeling like the power of basically we've got like all of this duality that has come together. We've stopped polarizing and we're working together within our halves. And what's really beautiful within that is those halves are now coming together, and then those full pieces are coming together with more. So I'm feeling a lot of more unity consciousness, a lot of awareness around me and we, and when, me needs to stand strong to show up for we, and when me needs to lean it into the we. So the first cards I drew forward were from the Lumerian Oracle. And this kind of came out for the masculine, which is solar plexus chakra, radiant illumination. This came out for the feminine, the violet flame. Now, because all of these cards fell at the same point, these are just... I'm viewing masculine and feminine to be working as one, also within our own energies as well as within our unions. Everything feels really intertwined right now. And, the timing between how things happen and how fast is definitely accelerating. The Earth card that came up, and I'll break these down in just a moment, was gracious receptivity. Okay, so what the message I came through was that there's been a lot of work on the masculine component of really kind of starting to go within and recognizing that there have been toxic structures, toxic patterning showing up in the relationship, and the men being asked to take more accountability and ownership for it. Again, when I say masculine, feminine, men, female, none of that really applies to what's happening as our bodies. It's just these different type of energy dynamics. I see it a lot with, husband, wife, that sort of thing. But I know that dynamic occurs in any relationship because we have the full yin and yang. Now, the violet flame is what came forward for the feminine. So what I really see is still this component of just I'm stepping out of the old energies into the new. I'm safe, I'm protected, and it's like transmutation. There's no space for the old anymore. There's no room to be in it. It's just clean it out and go on. All right. So it's the threshold of tolerance is there's no more tolerating that which does not serve. All right. And I really think that's opening up some very strong pathways for the masculine. Now, what I love is the earth energy coming through is this gracious receptivity, right? And it kind of feels like a lot of structures within these cards are then being received and taken in. The earth and the feminine are working hand in hand right now because the earth is feminine, right? So a lot of people, whether masculine and feminine, are feeling all of this stuff as it comes up within our bodies, right? And so that's a part of the transmutation, right? And those of us who help the earth transmute will ultimately come back to being held by her in this new earth paradigm. the masculine going through the process is going through an ego cleanse, right? They've been holding really strong to these practices and how they are and their ideas and their ideals and their this is how it should be, and like that shit ain't gonna fly no more. So there's a lot of like true truth coming into self to kind of identify and look at those things. Now, I love the mirroring of these cards when it comes forward in the herbal astrology deck, okay? So we have the masculine, which is cordyceps, all right, which there feels to be a lot of similar energy in these cards, right? This is the card of revival, of rebirth. Really feel like there's some true spirit connection coming through for the masculine in this transmutation of self. And that's exactly what it is. Like for the masculine, it feels like an ego death. And for the feminine, it feels like, I wouldn't say an ego ownership, but like a balance of healthy ego, because I think for so long in these dynamics, the women shut their egos up to move forward with the masculine, or at least that's the templates that I'm currently working on breaking. I'm not saying that that might not be true for everybody, but that's what I'm definitely feeling, seeing, and witnessing on a big thing. So as I bring attention to it for myself, it's like, all right, like transmutation station, how am I enabling these patterns? How am I playing victim in myself? You know, where do I have accountability? Where do I not? Where do I say no? Where do I walk away? Where do I fight? All of these different pieces feel very, very important. Okay, so then with the feminine, we had horsetail patience. Now, the violet flame and patience also really feel to me to be, there's almost like a purple twinge in this card moving through this area of healing. And I love the unicorn is just like, I'm holding it down. I'm a magical healing unicorn. Like all I have to do is exist to create the transmutation that the transmutation that needs to occur. Now, what's beautiful is the card that came up with this is the magician. So this is the earth energy. This is the gracious receptivity. Now, I would say that like the magician holds it down because he has the perspective of all that is meant to being. Like I'm getting really strong and like energy of Gandalf and like what's the crazy nature wizard that's in, I don't know, like maybe The Hobbit, I don't remember, but he was really quirky and weird. But I'm getting like a combination of that. It's just like how the divine masculine works with the divine feminine and how they're creating this transmutation that is impacting every single being on earth right now, whether you're male or female or non-binary, like all of those things, every single being, even the animals, are all receiving this great clearing right now. We are evolving with the earth. This is inevitable. This was what's meant to happen. This is how we are transitioning into the new earth. Now, what I've seen too is really cool because all of the astrologers and energy updates, like almost everybody is on the same page. Some people are communicating things in slightly different ways, but overall it's like even some of the conspiracy theories of like the ring of fire is around, like that's like aligning with the astrology and that's aligning with the weather. And like, so we have all these different pieces from different directions that are all coming together saying we are agreeing right now that we are going through a massive change. Okay. So then what comes forth, and again, we're seeing a lot of mirrored imagery in these cards, right? So the masculine is the Page of Wands, and this has come up several times in even individual readings that I've done today. So it really feels indicative to me that there is just this, like these are the masculine cards, right? So that there is this really like, there's a lot of solar plexus, lower chakra energy that is being upgraded and coming into realization. You can't fight the realizations that are coming forward right now. The energy is too strong to not be everybody is experiencing a layer of waking up. Okay, so we got a reverse 7 of Wands for the feminine, right? And this feels to me that there are some, again, similar colors. There is a sense of patience, of waiting. But the message that I got when I first saw this card and I saw it in the reverse is just like, girl, you got this. Spirit is holding you. Like it felt like all the wands from the celestial realms, from the divine, are coming down, and there's like, just give it over to God, like hold your own. Now, what's interesting about this too, her solar plexus is shining and it's activated. Whereas like this solar plexus energy type in this card is like expansive. All right, so while this is to represent the internal journey of the masculine and feminine, what I'm seeing is that like the masculine might still be acting out and the woman is just going within. Now this is the way things are right now. This is a great time to tune into your own self-love. Now what I think, as we're tuning in with that, for the feminine, we are typically better at doing our own self-care, whereas the masculine is not. So they're being asked to do their self-care externally, and the feminine is asked to do it more internally. Those internal check-ins. How are you doing right now? What are the somatic practices? All of those pieces moving forth. The message from the earth here is the 10 of Cups, so this shows me that there's some union, there's some camaraderie, there's some happiness that's really moving through. This really feels to me like this is the stream of new earth energy really moving forward and embracing our planet. We are not going to be able to resist what's coming forward. And as we're noticing with the extremeness of the weather patterns going on, is just like we really have to surrender to the earth's flow. I was just talking with my grandma yesterday, and it's been so hot here in Kansas City, and where I'm visiting family, and she was just talking about how it takes the steam out of us. Even if we're inside on a hot day, there's still a great chance that we're going to feel tired. And there's a real importance to listening to how the weather is impacting our bodies, because that's Earth talking through us saying, hey, you need to slow down. You just need to rest. A few weeks ago, I was up in Humboldt County in Northern California, and it was, heat waves there too. And every day I went to bed at like 8:30, and I'd go down to the river and I'd do all these things. And it was so important for me just to kind of flow, to chill, to relax, and to like nourish my body and to be present with her state. Now for the external energies, we got some interesting things as well. So for the masculine and feminine, we got the 9 of Pentacles for the feminine and the Ace of Swords for the masculine. This card has also come up for a lot of other readings today. I really feel like there's just like this cut of illusion, of delusion. We're really coming in to like getting to the core of the truth and to how we need to step forward. And, I wasn't thinking about this just now, but the way I see these cards is just there's a lot of the radiance of the feminine. It's almost like the masculine is seeing the truth of the feminine and is like having to kind of address how he wants to move forward with that. Now, I found a really interesting contrary energy come up because we have the 9 of Swords here as what the earth is working to communicate. Now, the 9 of Swords with the 10 of Cups. All right, this is the internal energy. This is the external energy. Okay, so this is where we get into like the weather patterns, the things we're saying, like how we react to it. The weather is saying, the earth is saying through the weather, like, I've had enough, I'm done with this. And so I really like that these Swords of Illusion, like all of these cards together, it shows me like as we do this work, like there is a grief coming up of how we've been mistreating each other for so long, how like human has mistreated the earth, maybe not followed by the feminine guidance, but not trusting the feminine flow. And because there is this goddess rising, the goddess has risen, movement moving forward, like all of that's really starting to shift. I do really feel like there's a greater respect moving through, because it can't be denied anymore, and the women aren't allowing it to be denied, and not in an angry feminist way either, just very much like this can't be done anymore. So lastly, I asked, like, where is this all headed? Like, what are we doing? And I got the 6 of Cups. Okay, this cup has also come up a lot in recent months, and it's usually reflective of like we're still doing some bridging work. Now, I think the 6 of Cups with the 10 of Cups here, like, we have some similar energy moving through the card, right? We are healing. We are doing some deep, deep ancestral DNA layered bloodline, soul line. Like the planet is healing right now. And the more generous and loving we can be, like both with like our inner self, with the animals, like there's like a nurturing component to this card that's really being asked as we bridge the old world into the new. We're really creating a healthier bridge between, not just a healthier bridge, but like we're moving into more light. And as more light comes in, like there's no room for the shadow stuff. You know, if you want to put a delicious feast on your table, you got to clean your table off first. The two cards that came out with it is the external energy of where it's headed from the Six of Cups. We got the High Priestess and the Ace of Pentacles. So that really shows me the role of how the women, how that feminine energy is influencing what's happening on Earth, how the feminine energy steps forward and respects themselves, honors themselves, creates healthy boundaries. The more space it really welcomes for this new Earth. Now, I really like this card. Again, I don't work typically with the traditional tarot, so looking at these images is really helpful to see, like this Ace of Pentacles. There's like a portal here to this like mountain zone that feels very similar to the mountains we see on the Revival card, all right? So this to me shows that we are moving towards new Earth. The feminine is guiding the way to new Earth. You know, I really think that like while these floods and earthquakes and, you know, tsunamis and all of these things, like, and heat waves and cold waves, like all these things are moving forward. Whew, I just got goosebumps. We are being guided to really trust ourselves and that sort of thing. So anyway, all of that's feeling really good. I'm curious to how you all are experiencing the varying energies of the current times. Please reach out if you would like to, prismhealers@gmail.com. I do, reading or clue readings, and, you know, would be happy to tune into your own individual journey and concerns if you would like. I hope you all are doing well. Blessed be, stay safe, keep doing the work. You're doing good things. Aho.